microphone.
You do.
I do?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So thank you for being here. This is our first event this month, and we're still going to have another event this month as well. So I want to remind you of the event that's happening next week, because it tackles an important subject that is VAT in UAE. Right, so if you want to know more about how the VAT is going to impact our life, make sure to come next week, same day, same time. Yeah? And putting that on the side as the first announcement, now it's an honor for us at TAI to have Akram today, Akram Miknas, present here, who's one of the leading figures when it comes to the communication industry in the region. And he's an entrepreneur before everyone started using that word. If we forget the term entrepreneur and how we started hearing of the term entrepreneur thanks to the internet, before that, there were people like Akram that built companies that we all use today on a daily basis and we don't know about. So it's an honor at TAI that we have Akram Miknas today on a fireside chat with the one and only PK Gulati, the main champion of entrepreneurs in Dubai. And with this, we'll open the floor for you, PK.
It's not just a pleasure, but a privilege to talk to somebody like Akram. You know, somebody who's built a lot of what we see in this part of the world. And I'm not saying just because you're sitting next to us, but because we know your footprints with things we use on a daily basis. So may I request you to give a round of applause before you begin. And thank you very much for sparing the time to share with us your journey. So before we started, we actually had a chat and we decided to make this into a conversation, to do something which is not scripted. So here's a script which I'm not going to read. But the idea is for us to try and understand and see what are the things that we can learn from his experience of life in building some of the largest companies in this region, and also to understand what are the tips and tricks that younger companies and people who amongst you are trying to build companies can actually use. So let me start with a very, kind of a curious question. You started your first big advertising company before I was even born. And I'm not exactly the youngest person.
Before he was always the one.
Youngest person in the room.
Absolutely.
So think about somebody who comes from a third country, comes to the Gulf, opens an advertising agency in the 60s. Like, why? And how did you come up with that? And it's actually pioneering. So must have been kind of...
Thank you. First of all, I'm honored to be with you. And I tell you the truth, if I was to go back in my life and I want to start, probably I'll start in a place like this. I love it. There's a lot of energy, a lot of warmth, and I think I think you're all lucky. I mean, those who are here, I think they're lucky to be in here. If I wanted to tell you that I had a 5-year plan or a 10-year or a 20-year plan, or I knew that I was going to be here, I'd be lying to you, because I had no idea what I was doing. The fact of the matter is, when I was at university, I had to work, and my book is about to be published within about probably 6 months, and it talks about journeys and stories in my life that has shaped me, if you like. And but these stories will give you certain ideas of things that happen and how I personally overcome them, if you like, because life is full of difficulties, life is full of challenges, and life is full of mountains, and without them, I think life would be very boring. If you just walk without any hurdles, it just doesn't work. But why I started in advertising, and my father even asked me the same question, because he said, you're going to university, and when I said, I'm going to be doing advertising, he was shocked. He almost cried. He said, you can't do this to me. He said, you've studied for so long. You did a lot in your life, and you're just going to be in advertising? I mean, what the hell is this? And frankly, I didn't know what it was, to be honest with you. All I knew is that I was at university trying to support my father with fees and stuff like that. So I was working for the university. I sold encyclopedias, I sold insurance just to do some money, but I knew that my heart wasn't there. I really found myself when I started selling an exhibition for the university, which was the first ever made engineering exhibition at the American University of Beirut. And I almost forced myself on the dean, because the dean wanted to give it to a professional company. And I said to him, but why? Come on, let's try to sell it ourselves. And I said, listen, I've been selling encyclopedia, I've been selling insurance, I've been selling all sorts of things, which you can read about when my book is out. And not to bore you. Anyway, but that was my first experience, if you like, in what I call communicating with people. So the exhibition itself was basically a great success. I went and sold, and which was easy because I sold to engineering graduates of the university, and I thought that they would be the great sponsors of an event like this, and they really actually sponsored me. And the first sale I did was for a company called Caterpillar, and I sold them 500 square meter in an exhibition that was about almost 10% of the exhibition. And when I started selling, I knew that we needed to do something else. At that time, there was no internet. I couldn't know what other engineer exhibitions would be like in the world, but or what they would need or what they require. But you know, you acquire knowledge as you go through experience. You acquire, because first of all you're curious. Second of all, you need to do it to succeed. You need to get this exhibition to succeed, and that's very important. And then I felt responsible because I said I'll do it, and I was probably 19 or 20 at that time. But I said I'll do it, and I promised to do it. So I started asking people to send me any information from outside, from the States, from London, from all sorts of places that I could find, but it would take a long time for you to get the information, because you know there was no internet, so therefore they would have sent me a physical brochure or booklet or whatever it is. So anyway, my experience told me that you would need a brochure as well. So I started getting into the brochure, and I needed a catalog for the exhibition. So we needed another thing, and I started selling the catalog pages, and this was all, if you like, experiences that I learned by experimenting, by needing. And of course, when I started selling these, they needed to do for them. They needed for the advertisements, if you like, some layouts, and many of them they were construction companies, so they wouldn't have agencies. They would have probably so they asked for my help, and I asked for engineers, architects who were working at the university, who were studying at the university, to help me lay out pages, and that's how we did it. We laid out some pages, and I was fascinated with this thing, and I knew that there was something in it, and I felt comfortable because I'm in love. Suddenly I felt this is where I want to be. And when I wake up in the morning, I want to be selling exhibitions for the rest of my life, and I want to be selling pages for the rest of my life. And it was fantastic, honestly fantastic. So anyway, it was a great success. We sold the exhibition, and then I sold another exhibition for the school, and I generated enough income to almost not depend on my father anymore to finish my university. And that's how I got into advertising.
And then you moved to the Gulf, I believe, in the 60s.
Yes. I faced a lot of difficulties when I graduated, and I couldn't get a job in advertising in Lebanon because somebody told me, he said, well, you don't come from a good family. You're not Maronite Christian. He was very blunt with me. He told me, he said this to me straightforward. He said, and you don't have money. Why would you want to be in advertising? You cannot be in advertising. Because people who were advertising at that time were the sons of rich people who couldn't get a decent job.
We've all seen that, man. We've all seen that, man.
So I said to him, well, but I have worked in this, worked in that, etc. And I studied marketing at university, which I changed from economics to business, and then with if you like, stress, with majors on marketing, really, majoring in marketing, and therefore it was natural for me to be in that. So when I told them this story, they said, well, you're overqualified. We don't need you. Well, you're too expensive. And probably I was, because if I was selling encyclopedia, I would be making more money than the job they wanted to give me. So then I met a couple of friends, and they were all university friends who really liked me, and they knew that I could sell. They didn't think I could be an advertising man, because advertising men sell. I think they're good salesmen, and Hassan is a good example. But the truth is, I took it as a challenge, and they sat with me and they said, listen, why don't we start an advertising agency or a promotion agency? I said advertising is a bit tough, because I knew that all the major accounts were already belonging to rich family, and the rich family would put their son to run the advertising for them, so almost in-house agencies. And that's what really happened. And anyway, so we all each one of us put 1,000 Lebanese lira, which is $300 at the time. And we started the agency with 7,000 Lebanese lira, 7 of us, and we got an office in a building called Pavillon in Hamra in Beirut, and the office number was 107, which was fantastic. I said, I think this number 7, there's something.
Somebody's telling you something.
Yeah,
right?
and the war happened in Lebanon in 75, and I left Lebanon because I felt that I couldn't be part of a place that, I don't want to kill people, I don't want to be killed, and I didn't think I belonged to a place, because Lebanon was not like this. In my university days, and the place where I knew was tolerant, was loving, we had we had people from all over the world. As a matter of fact, at university, we were only allowed to have 50 students at that time, Lebanese, and the rest had to be from all over the world. So it gives you a feeling of what that university must have been. And so basically I ran away. I left Lebanon. I went first to Jordan. I knew that Jordan was not right immediately, almost. I smelled that Jordan could not be the marketing center of the new marketing place for me, or advertising. My ex-wife was Turkish, so I went to Turkey as well to decide to see if Turkey would be a good place, Istanbul. And I knew that I needed to do something always close to my roots, which is the Arab world, because language will help me and supports me in being an advertising man in an Arab world, because language is important, communication. And then I decided to leave Turkey, and I came back. I came to Dubai in 1975, and at that time there was only one TV, and a gentleman called Abdul Hakim Tawbah, who was running the place, because the TV was managed by his brother-in-law. He knew nothing about advertising, and he knew nothing about TV. But his brother-in-law was very close to the family, to the ruling family at the time, and they trusted him, and they gave him the assignment to build the TV station. The TV station was the only place, but there was hardly any advertising on it, and there were no newspapers. There was only one newspaper in Abu Dhabi that came from Abu Dhabi, called Ittihad, which is still going, and it came only during that period when I was there, and it was really very, very poor at the time. So we decided with another ad agency called Pub Rizq, which is Lebanese, called Oji Nahli, he died now, and another gentleman who I forgot his name, but he had an Indian advertising agency catering to the Indian community. We decided to utilize the Reuters bulletin. I don't know if you remember. You don't remember because this again we four times. But it was a memograph sheet, not even a memory. And we talked to Reuters. We talked to Reuters. We said, how about if you allow us to just copy it, and we will put ads in between. So he said, please help yourself. You want money? They said, no, nothing, just take it and do whatever you like to do with it. So I was staying at the time in the only proper hotel at the time, which was called the Interconti. Now it's, I think,
Radisson Blu.
Radisson. And we started taking that paper, and between the three agencies, between us the three, we started putting ads among them. And there was another magazine that used to come from Bahrain called Gulf Mirror. And Gulf Mirror used to come here. I don't know if any of you remember, because that's only 76, 75, 76. And it used to come once a week, and sometimes doesn't come. It depends what happens on the road. Maybe somebody eats it, maybe not. Anyway, but it was fun. It was fun days. And then I left here. I went to Bahrain because of Saudi. Because I said, these are small markets. There is no hardly any media. I can't really work on putting ads in a bulletin and selling that. And I started doing some ads on TV here and going to my friend Tawtah and using them, putting them. But really the media was still poor, and even TV was still poor. But Bahrain was a bit more advanced. They had newspapers, they had 3 Arabic papers, and they had 1. And we were close to Saudi Arabia, which is very important, because that's where I knew it was. If I wanted to be an advertising man of any size, I needed to look at Saudi, and the rest is history.
Great. I think this pioneering, feeling is something which, today's startups sometimes emulate very well and sometimes don't have. So there's a lot of learning in that. And you also did a lot more than advertising. Advertising was the starting point. But, I believe you dabbled and succeeded in hospitality, in real estate, and even in franchising, for example.
Yes.
So how did all that come by? Or was it post the success of that?
Well, actually, I wake up in the morning and I every single day I feel I want to live more. I want to do more. I love what I'm doing. And what made me, first of all, leave the advertising business, and I was only probably 55 or 56 probably when I left, is because I felt that I belong to an era and there is a new challenge coming up, if you like. And I knew that digital is coming, but I didn't think it was going to be in any way what I see today. I knew that it could become a tool that we use inside the agencies to enhance, if you like, to make it faster, to do creative work, to do a few things like that, to do, for example, TV commercials. I mean, for us to be able to put a frame on top of another frame.
Yes.
In the old days, it used to be a laborious work, and it used to be to fade in one frame, to fade out another frame, and it was a very, very, very expensive
process.
and very expensive. So when this started coming, the digital, I mean, it was becoming much easier to be able to do all of this, to sandwich picture, to do this. I mean, that became nothing. But I knew that if I stay, I'm gonna, if you like, slow down the pace of the network. And by that time, it became a big network. I mean, we were already probably about $500 million already turnover. We were throughout the Arab world, except in places like in Iraq, because they didn't accept advertising, didn't want us to be there. But we were almost everywhere, including Sudan. Mm-hmm. We had to close it when the American sanctions came in, and including Iran, including many of these places. But I knew that I had people who were working with me, and I would never like to say people working for me, because I really work with people much more than I work for them. Mm-hmm. And I think it is more fun to do that, if you like.
Another thing to learn, please note.
No, but I mean, it's very, 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 and I knew that I had to be able to, I needed to step out and let someone else come in. I had 3 or 4 guys who were really running for the position, and I knew that they were competing for it, and